when you had a car,
Yes.
you would take it for an oil change.
Yes.
And it's like every certain number of miles, it needs an oil change. Right? So our body's sort of the same way. Like after so long, we need an oil change.
Okay.
The other thing is when you go, like when they go to change the oil, what's the first thing they do? Do you know?
Sadly, I don't. I was like, please don't ask me what they do. When they change the, I was like, Carfax, things I don't have.
Right.
Carfax.
I know. So I don't really know car things. Well, I know some car things.
Okay.
So when they go to change the oil,
yes,
they drain the old oil first.
I did not know that, but that makes sense because otherwise you have dirty oil in your car. Yeah.
Right. So then you're just taking the new clean oil,
and contaminating it,
and mixing it with the dirty oil.
Makes sense.
So
makes sense.
Your system is kind of the same way.
Welcome to Salad with a Side of Fries. I'm your host, Jenn Trepic, talking wellness and weight loss for real life. We're here to clear up the myths, misinformation, bad science, and marketing to teach you how to eat and how to cheat. Are you ready? I'm having salad with a side of fries.
Happy New Year, guys! Welcome back to another episode of Salad with a Side of Fries. As always, I'm your host, Jenn Trepic, and we're back with Stevie.
Hi. Thanks for having me back.
Yeah. So I know this isn't our first episode in January, but I still feel like Happy New Year?
Yeah.
Is that...
No, it's still appropriate.
Right.
Still appropriate. First week.
I know. There definitely comes a point in January where it's, you need to stop saying Happy New Year, but, you know, I think we're still
not there yet. We're not there yet. We haven't even gotten through a full week.
Yeah, so super quick to start us off, let's highlight our partner for this episode, Lumiere de Vie Skincare. Guys, I use this entire line. I love everything from them. You know, I always mention the needle-free serum, which is exactly what it sounds like. Use it and you don't need the injections, or maybe not as much. Okay. I'm also super excited about their new retinol cream. A lot of you guys, I'm sure, know the powerful retinol creams on the market. This one is super gentle, and I love it because my skin is super sensitive, so I can still use it. Okay, so Lumiere de Vie Skincare, founded by Amber Ridinger McLaughlin, in response to her own experience of mere marginal results from countless costly creams. She realized the revitalization of her youthful skin could only occur if she developed the products herself. Working closely with beauty scientists and exploring the most advanced ingredients derived from the earth and sea, Amber created Lumiere de Vie, the next generation of skincare. The extensive line of luxury skincare products is designed to address all skin types and concerns, including uneven texture or tone, dryness, and fatigue skin, with the highest quality natural ingredients and powerful formulas that help heal, soothe, moisturize, and protect. Lumiere de Vie acts as first aid for your skin. The result, rejuvenated, luminous, beautiful-looking skin. To try it yourself, text the word SKIN to 844-947-4846, and you'll receive the link and coupon code for 10% off. Again, simply text the word SKIN to 844-947-4846 to try Lumiere de Vie Skincare and get 10% off. This is a toll-free number. Standard text and data rates may apply. All right. It's January. I think a lot of people know, I've said it many times, I'm not the biggest resolutions fan.
I'm with you on that.
I feel like, by definition, when you call something a resolution, it's just not going to happen.
It's made to be broken.
Right.
Resolutions are made to be broken, so I don't make them either.
So, having said that, I think this is, though, a time of year when people recommit to their health. Maybe that's the nicer way to put it.
Reinvigorate their routines or, something like that.
Yeah. And with that, a lot of people talk about this idea of like detox.
Yes.
Right? Maybe it's dry January or cut the sugar or, like everybody kind of has a different version.
Yes.
Right? Do you do...
So I would like to say that I am a big proponent of recommitting to my workout routine and being more consistent than usually the holiday seasons go.
Yeah.
But I'm not a big fan of a huge detox. For me, I feel like when I make a dramatic change like that, the results happen, but then they don't last.
Exactly.
So I find that
they're
frustrating.
A lot of the traditional detoxes, it's super short-lived. Yep. Or
you'll see a difference, but then a week later when you go back to your normal routine, the results immediately disappear. So for me, I've
also had it where right after something so restrictive, I feel like I boomerang the other direction and all of a sudden I'm back eating things that I haven't eaten in years, but because I did something crazy.
Yes. Where your brain is like, free me from this prison that you've put me in.
Yes, exactly.
Yes, I try to avoid that.
But so let's talk about for a second to just like lay the foundation. Like, why would somebody want to do a detox?
So obviously there's that feeling of it's the new year. Let me start by eating only vegetables, and I'm gonna. You get to see results quickly, which can be motivating. Yeah. But when it's something that's not sustainable, then I feel like the long-term effect is that you end up right back where you started, and sometimes even worse off.
Yeah. So I am a fan of detoxing, provided it's the right kind of detox. And we'll talk about what that looks like. But so things that, and January is not the only time to do it.
No, it isn't.
Right? So things that you might be experiencing that would be an indication of wanting to do a detox. Cravings. Right? We've talked about this before, where sweet, salt, and fat are acquired tastes. So the more we have them, the more we want them. Yes. And the more we have them, the more of them we need. Like the more of the thing that we need in order for it to register. So like
satisfy us.
Yeah. So like sweet's a good one of that, where like, you know, the people who put sweetener in their like coffee.
Yes.
And they start out with 1 and then fast forward, they're like, now I'm at 4.
Yes. Because it doesn't. Why. Yes, exactly.
Like it needs to be sweeter for their taste buds to register that it's sweet.
Right.
So if your sweetener in a drink has crept up, that would be a really good indication that it's time for a detox.
Yes.
Similarly, if I find this generally like after vacation, where maybe you're eating dessert every night and now you're starting to crave that dessert every night, good indication that we want a detox.
Or when you feel like I do feel like sometimes after a prolonged period of eating more than you usually do, you find that at every meal, even when you're back in your routine, you're eating more than you used to. And sometimes it's also the kinds of foods you're eating, like you said, the things that you, generally speaking, wouldn't even think about, but because you incorporated it maybe in the holidays, you ate more of the sweets and more of the, refined carbs or whatever it is, you find that that's going trickling in that direction into your daily life.
You may also have digestive issues. So if you're feeling bloated all the time, if you feel like no matter what you eat, it's sort of upsetting your system, good indication it's time to clean out. If you're tired all the time, which again can happen at different times of the year. Yes. Yeah. And we sort of, we attribute it to other things.
Not getting enough sleep when it's really, you might not be getting enough nutrients.
Right. So a good time to clean out.
Yes.
Skin problems. So this is one where a lot of people, again, we don't necessarily attribute it.
Yes.
But so think about it
for me,
in terms of, so think about it. Your skin is your largest organ. So people ask like why I do stuff with skincare. So your skin is your largest organ, which means everything happening inside the body manifests in the skin. So there's actually...
Never thought of it that way.
Yeah. And it's really interesting. Like I use this face chart too, where different areas on the face are connected to different organs.
Okay.
In, Eastern medicine, basically. So depending on where on your face you're having issues or where on your body you're having issues, it's associated with organs in the side.
Okay. Interesting.
So if you're having some skin
your liver's working really hard, you might see it manifest in a specific part of your skin. Okay.
Exactly. So skin stuff. If you've hit a plateau, and we will do an episode to understand like truly what plateaus actually are, because it's not a week or two without losing weight.
Okay. Yeah.
But if you've hit a true plateau, detox is a great way to kick things up. Sometimes people will choose to do it seasonally.
Okay.
To clean out, start fresh. And I'll tell you guys, my number one reason for doing a detox is starting a new nutrition program.
Okay.
So have you ever like started a new thing and then, but not really seen the results right away?
Yes, definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely.
It's pretty typical, I think. So think about it like this. I know we live in New York City. And do you have a car?
No.
Yeah, no. I haven't had a car since I was in high school or college. Yeah. I had a car in college. But, when you had a car, you would take it for an oil change.
Yes.
And it's like every certain number of miles, it needs an oil change. right? So our body's sort of the same way. Like after so long, we need an oil change.
Okay.
The other thing is when you go, like when they go to change the oil, what's the first thing they do? Do you know?
Sadly, I don't. I was like, please don't ask me what they do. When they change the oil. I was like, Carfax, things I don't have.
Right.
Carfax.
I know. So I don't really know car things. Well, I know some car things.
Okay.
So when they go to change the oil,
yes,
they drain the old oil first.
I did not know that, but that makes sense because otherwise you have dirty oil in your car. Yeah.
Right. So then you're just taking the new clean oil,
and contaminating it,
and mixing it with the dirty oil.
Makes sense.
So
makes sense.
Your system is kind of the same way where, okay, so a little technical for a hot second. Your GI tract, right? Like your intestines have these, they're called villi, and they're like little finger-like things that wave around and line your intestines. And it's the surface area of the villi is how you absorb nutrients.
Okay. Did not know that.
So how we eat, especially over the holidays with carbohydrates and sugar and fat, all the things, right? They basically get coated and they start to stick together. So the surface area that allows for the absorption of nutrients from the food that we're eating gets less and less.
Okay. That makes sense.
So by doing a detox, when we clean out our GI system, then our body can actually use all the quality new nutritious foods that we're putting into it.
That makes sense. That makes sense.
So that's my top reason for doing a detox.
Yes. No,
right?
that makes total sense.
And realize too, I feel like I'd be doing a disservice if I didn't say this, right? Our overall metabolism, your body has mechanisms to rid your body of harmful toxins, right? We've talked about this before, your liver and all these things.
Yep.
Your body naturally detoxifies. But the mechanisms may not work at their best because of imbalances from
behavior.
Right, exactly.
From
food, alcohol, medications. Okay. Right? Like if you take, whether it's...
Are there certain medications that are more impactful on...
Yeah, like some... But basically they all deplete the body, not just of nutrients, but also damage the gut flora.
Okay. I did not know that.
Especially... So... Medications more
and I know like antibiotics are really hard on your stomach.
Exactly. But that's why, right? Okay. Like they basically kill the good stuff and the bad stuff.
Yes, they kill everything.
Yeah. So if you already take supplements, that's great, but if you eat poorly, it's like never changing the oil in your car.
Okay.
So it's got to be sort of this like all-inclusive effort. And again, it doesn't mean go crazy. I also wouldn't recommend doing this more often than seasonally.
Okay.
You know, like I wouldn't do it more than that.
So like 3 to 4 times a year is the most you would. Okay.
Yeah. And again, like think about too some of these symptoms like we talked about, and maybe it's a smaller kind of reset rather than the full 7-day thing that we're going to talk about.
I was just going to say, so for a detox, how long would you recommend?
Yeah.
But okay, so 7 days.
I recommend 7 days. I think 3 days is a good effort.
Okay.
You know, if you haven't done 3 days,
to 7,
like
then you can do a little bit of a modification and shorten it.
Exactly.
A bit.
Exactly. Okay. And we'll dive into like my detox that I recommend and whatever. But let's talk about the kinds of detoxes that I think are more typical that we hear about. Like if you Google detox, like these are the ones that come up.
Yes.
Right. So you and I were talking before. The first one is
juice cleanse.
Juice cleanse.
Yes. I think everyone knows somebody who's done a juice cleanse, and also probably everybody knows that person on day 2 and has not wanted to be around that person while they're doing the juice cleanse.
Yeah. So in general, I'm not the biggest fan of juicing.
Me neither.
I think you can get a lot of phytonutrients from juicing your vegetables. However, you also concentrate all of the sugar and remove all of the fiber.
Right.
And our body needs that fiber. Like part of cleaning out those villi is getting the fiber to clean them off.
That makes sense. Yeah.
So if all we're taking in is sugary water with some vitamins and minerals.
Yes.
we're not giving our body what it really needs.
At that point, you're probably better off taking a supplement and drinking some actual water.
Right. Right.
Just a thought.
Yeah. Then there's like colonics, the coffee enema, like
These are things I have not explored, but yes.
I mean,
personally, I know people who have.
Yeah, like Master Cleanse was a big one for a long time. I
know there are people who do. There's with bone broth, and I know bone broth is something great that people incorporate into their diet. But I know people who have also used it as a form of a cleanse, where they're doing broth 2 times a day in one meal.
Yeah. Again,
not for me personally.
I think if you want to incorporate some bone broth in your detox, more power to you. I would prefer to add a ton of vegetables to that bone broth.
Yes.
And give your body some roughage to use.
And some fiber to
exactly.
actually detoxify.
Like the Master Cleanse was big for a long time. Fasting is sometimes, what people do. And I just think, again, we want to think more about long term.
What's sustainable.
And what's actually serving the function of what we need it to do.
Yes.
Right? We're looking for it to clean out our system. And for me also, I like for something to focus on the whole system. So something like a colonics or a coffee enema or they concentrate on one portion of the whole thing. And really, to function optimally, we need to do a complete clean out.
Right. And because all of the organs need to.
Yeah. So I also prefer ones where you eat. Like, I need food.
Agreed. I need to chew. I can't go an entire day without chewing something.
Yeah.
And gum isn't it. I actually have tried the thing where you're, instead of eating a lot, you're chewing sugar-free gum.
It can actually make you hungrier.
It makes you hungrier. It gives me, personally, the worst stomach ache ever.
Yeah, you know why?
Because of the sugar alcohol. Well, for me,
so sugar alcohols will make you, like excess sugar alcohols can make you zacky. Can make you gassy.
Yeah.
But actually, the craziest part about it is that, so when you're chewing gum, your salivatory glands are turned on.
Okay.
And it starts, the juice is flowing in your stomach.
For
digestion, and then nothing ever goes there. So a lot of people can get acid reflux, or if somebody has reflux or acid issues.
Okay.
So like if somebody has acid issues, they'll say don't chew gum.
And I do have acid issues.
Well,
but there you go.
So
and I actually don't chew gum anymore because every time I was like, I have a stomach ache every time. Learn your lesson. Stop chewing it.
You're welcome.
Thanks. Yeah. Now I understand it.
Public service announcement for all people with acid
reflux
things.
Yeah. Or
indigestion.
Exactly.
Of sorts. So, like I said, I like ones that focus on all of the organs involved in detoxification, the whole GI tract and system, right? And where we eat. So, I think some of the philosophy behind a lot of these other cleanses or detoxes that we hear about is this idea of like giving your system a rest.
Yes, that's what a lot of people say.
Yeah, and I agree. I think that's a big piece of this. But not giving our body fiber is not giving our system a rest. It's also not doing what we need it to do. So there are certain things that we eat that overwork our system. So if we eliminate the things that overwork our system and then add the things that help clean it out, like getting enough fiber and actually eat and all the things, then we can do what we want to do instead of our greatest intentions of doing a detox actually becoming counterproductive.
Right. And then also creating probably cravings that wouldn't have maybe existed beforehand.
Exactly. Okay. So now it begs the question then, what are we going to do if we're not going to do the crazy things that we've been hearing about for a long time?
Yes.
Right? So I recommend it's a 7-day vegetable and fruit detox. Okay. Sort of the methodology behind why we do it, right? Fruits and vegetables contain phytonutrients and enzymes. Right? Phytonutrients are the plant-derived nutrients that contain antioxidants.
Okay.
Antioxidants are the natural compounds that protect our body from harmful free radicals, which free radicals come from the air we breathe, the foods we eat, even exercising. Like our body naturally produces free radicals, and our body has our own antioxidants that fight it, but our lifestyles and everything in our typical American life has gotten to the point where our natural antioxidant processes cannot do enough, to combat the free radicals that are floating around our body.
Okay.
So a free radical is an atom with an unpaired electron.
Okay.
Okay, going back to like 7th grade science.
Yep, that's literally what that makes me think of.
I know. So essentially what it does is it goes around and starts it steals an electron from a balanced molecule.
Okay.
To make it balance, and it creates this chain of imbalance in our cells.
Okay, makes sense.
So this damages our cells. It can impair the immune system, right? With an impaired immune system, it's disease, infection, a whole host of things.
Right.
At the risk of saying things that are non-compliant, we'll just leave it at that. Right? So antioxidants play a huge role in preventing disease.
Right.
So it's really important, and scientists believe that free radicals are also the basis of the aging process.
Okay.
So, hey now,
Yeah. No. Right. Nobody wants to age any faster.
Right. So that's like your phytonutrients, antioxidants, right? Enzymes are the organic compounds that increase the rate of which food is broken down. Okay. So in our system, enzymes break down the food.
Okay.
Fresh fruits and vegetables contain living enzymes that break down in the GI tract, in the digestive tract, that gives our system the rest that it needs to repair and rejuvenate.
Okay.
So when
you are getting that rest, it's just in a more productive and effective way.
Exactly. So when you continue to take in dead foods like starches, sugars, fats, it creates a trap because our body's not getting the nutrients it needs, kind of like what we talked about before with the villi. So this can lead to overeating because our body starts to have these cravings,
right? Because
it's craving nutrients, and our body's only way of saying, give me nutrients, is to say, I'm hungry.
Yep.
Right. So essentially, especially in the United States, we're a country of people who are obese and starving.
Wow. Okay. Yeah, that makes sense. Because we're giving ourselves too much of the wrong things, so we're not actually giving ourselves the nutrition we need while giving ourselves way too much food.
Right.
That isn't serving our organs.
Yeah. And so by doing a 7-day vegetable and fruit detox, we clean out our system, literally readjust your metabolism and your taste buds. Like, so all of the things, like, I promise you guys, by like the 3rd or 4th day, your energy is going to be insane.
Okay.
Usually by like day 3, 4, I'm falling asleep at an appropriate hour.
Yep.
I'm waking up before my alarm.
Yes.
I don't have, right? And you're like, and not like waking up before the alarm and being like, oh, thank God, I still have like 3 hours, or, I still have an hour. It's like,
I'm ready to start my day.
I don't have to get up yet, but I'm like ready to go.
Yeah.
Right.
That is the best feeling.
Yeah. Your taste buds readjust. So things like raspberries or tomatoes or like start to taste like really sweet. Like all of these vegetables that sort of maybe in this moment all taste the same or taste like nothing will start to have real flavor because you're totally recalibrating your taste buds.
Yeah, that makes sense. And that also makes it easier to really avoid some of the foods that you don't want to eat as much of. So to avoid that added sugar and to avoid the candy when raspberries feel satisfying as a sweet.
Exactly.
You don't want the Skittles because you don't need them.
So here's how we do this, right? 7 days.
Okay.
Vegetables all the time, all day long. Like oodles and oodles and oodles of vegetables. Okay. You'll limit your fruits to 3 a day.
Okay.
And you're going to want to stick to all low glycemic impact vegetables and fruits.
Okay.
Which go back to our other episodes.
Yes.
I think it was Life Hack Food Choices where we talked about the glycemic index.
Yes.
So that's what we're eating. You can certainly cook that. The more raw, the better.
Okay.
Because as we talked about in that episode too, the ripeness of foods and the way we cook them can change the molecular structure of the food.
Yes.
So yes, incorporate the raw vegetables, but I also get, especially when the weather's cold, you don't always want to be eating cold food.
Yes.
Which reminds me, actually, so I did a juice cleanse once to experience it so that I could talk about it.
Yes.
I was freezing the whole time.
Like, I'm so cold.
I was so cold. I could not get warm. So sometimes we want warm food.
Yes.
Totally fine. Steam, saute using water, we're going to eliminate a lot of fats and things like that. So, but saute, steam, grill, boil, but just don't cook it to smithereens. You know what I'm talking about?
Don't where you wilt it to within an inch of its life.
Yes.
It should look like the vegetable that it is still when you're done cooking.
The reason why your kids hate certain foods is because it's mush.
Yes.
Don't do that.
Yeah.
Right. So that's what we are going to eat. We're going to eliminate, okay, don't hate me, coffee, alcohol, sugar, caffeine, certain oils and fats, and we're going to limit our protein.
It's only 7 days.
It's only 7 days.
Okay.
And the reason is these are all the addictive things.
Yes. It's true. I mean, my face when she said coffee was really sort of appalled because
I'm honestly surprised she didn't run out the door.
I am a little bit of a caffeine addict. I only have 1 cup a day, but you do become dependent on these things.
Yeah.
So,
and I will say, given that, right, and knowing that we sort of have this addiction, I think, is sort of a strong word, but it's sort of true, right? This craving for that caffeine to start our day. You can do some green tea, but give it a shot and see what happens. And I would bet, I've experienced, by day 3, 4, you're like, I don't need this. I feel really good. I have the energy to start my day.
Okay.
And to sustain that energy all day long.
Yes.
Yeah. So, but the objective is to eliminate all the things that are putting stress on our system.
Okay.
And that have those addictions. So sweet, salt, and fat.
Of course.
And the caffeine, and things like that. So keep taking, if you take vitamins and supplements, keep taking them during detox, but don't start anything new.
Okay.
Right? Again, we're trying to clean out. If we add something new, our body might freak out.
Okay.
For lack of a better way of describing it, we don't want to give it something new to figure out.
While trying to detox.
While we're trying to clean everything out. So having said that too, with the caffeine especially, I think a lot of people will get headaches.
Yes.
Frankly, guys, because what we're doing is cleaning out all the toxins from our system, you might get headaches even if you're not addicted to caffeine. It's a sign that it's working. So you might be a little irritable and cranky.
Okay.
You might be a little extra tired the first couple days. Kind of expect that. Know that it's coming, prepare for it. Choose a week where maybe you don't have a ton of plans or a ton of things to do.
Okay.
Great week to get a massage. Great week to just lay low, get a new book, chill.
Okay.
Try not to take, when you have that headache, drink some extra water. Try not to take a Tylenol or anything. Because remember, that's the stuff we're trying to clean out.
Yes. It's still putting stress on your organs.
Yeah. And the more we're giving it while we're trying to clean out, we're not getting to the stuff that's built up.
Okay.
If we're putting new things in that it's got to deal with.
Right.
Each morning, start your day with warm water and the juice of half a lemon.
Okay. I love that.
Yeah. It's actually a natural detoxifier for the liver and the gallbladder. And your gallbladder is responsible for your fat. What's the word? Fat processing.
Okay.
More or less. So warm water with half a lemon first thing, and then go to breakfast after that. I'll tell you guys, one of my favorite things to eat is I'll make a vegetable soup.
Okay.
During detox. And then sometimes, even for dinner, sometimes I'll have the soup and saute some vegetables and then put that on top of some raw spinach. So the warm vegetables kind of cook the raw spinach a little bit, and having the soup and the thing makes me feel like I'm eating more.
Yes.
It gives you
more
that
satisfying.
Yeah. So I'm actually going to give, our members are going to get our, my favorite detox soup recipe.
Okay, great.
So the other thing our members are getting is 15% off my 7-day detox kit. So that includes also some herbs, a really high quality fiber powder that are going to help support everything that we're doing.
Okay.
All the pieces. Like, remember our very first episode, we were talking about our liver and detoxification. Yes. So a lot of these herbs support the liver.
Okay.
So our members get 15% off my 7-day detox kit and my favorite detox soup recipe. And so for our members, that link and recipe and everything with the discount code will be in your weekly email. So does everybody know about our new membership program? So I know we talked about it.
Yes, but
so
remind us.
Yes. So here's how it works. You still get your podcast totally free, right? Salad with a side of fries, always here, always free. The membership allows you to double down on what you're loving from us. So for $10 a month, you get a weekly email that gives you a recipe, an article, or a deep dive into topics that we're not necessarily covering on the podcast. Or sometimes we're taking this topic and giving you extra tools to dig in and make the change.
Okay.
You'll also get extra discounts from me, like today, the 15% off the 7-day detox kit and our partners. And you'll also get access to live sessions with me to answer your questions and share your victories and all that kind of stuff. So to join the fun, you're going to go to glow.fm/salad with a side of fries. Glow is glow.fm/salad with a side of fries. It's literally 3 clicks and you're all ready to go. And you'll get the emails. So glow.fm/salad with a side of fries. Okay, so back to detox details, right? One of the questions I get all the time is about exercise.
Okay.
So I recommend the 7-day, like the first week.
Yes.
When starting a new program. And while we're eating this way, we actually do not want to exercise.
Okay.
At least...
Or not
yoga, Pilates,
vigorous
walking,
exercise. Okay.
Move.
Yes.
You can certainly do some activity, but nothing super strenuous.
Okay.
And the reason is super strenuous, like weight-bearing activity, like resistance training, super hard endurance things. Like when we're pushing like that, essentially what happens in the way you build muscle is that you break the muscle fibers, and they rebuild and you get stronger.
Yes.
We're not eating the protein required to properly rebuild.
Right. So you'll be breaking down muscles that you don't then rebuild.
Exactly. And as we know, muscle dictates metabolism.
Yes.
We want more muscle, so we don't want to break it down when we're not going to rebuild it.
Yep.
Right?
Makes total sense.
No offense to the people out there who do their juices and work out like a fiend. Odds are that pattern will end up in like the skinny fat category.
Yes. Well, because you're going to obviously have fewer calories coming in than going out. You'll be taking in fewer calories than you're burning, so you will get smaller, but you're getting smaller because you're destroying your muscle mass.
Exactly.
Not because you're effectively burning fat. Yeah.
Prize student. Right. So when would somebody not want to do a detox?
Probably not when you have a really busy social calendar.
Yeah,
I would
totally.
say that would be not the greatest time to do it.
Right.
Not at times of high stress also.
Yeah,
like
I mean,
work.
it kind of depends. Like I sort of feel
depends
like...
on how you deal with stress, I guess.
Right.
Also.
It depends on how you deal with stress. Sometimes it's
For me,
actually...
working out helps, so then I would need to then be eating.
Right. And then...
to support that.
At the same time, like I think focusing on a massage or mani-pedi or reading a book or doing these lower key things can give us alternatives for dealing with the stress. And
True.
I also think maybe it's unrealistic for us to think that we're going to find a week without stress.
That's zero stress, but you know, you're closing a big deal. That might not be the week.
Yeah. So, I mean, obviously, if you are under the care of a medical physician for some kind of condition, speak to your doctor, speak to your pharmacist, you know, discuss the options with them. I am not diagnosing, treating, recommending, you know, you have to take care of you. And if you're under the care of a doctor, consult your doctor. If you're pregnant, you don't want to do the detox in this way. We can make some slight adjustments. So if that's you, we can talk about that. And the other thing, so I had a client years ago. It takes some self-awareness to realize if this is right for you. I do think it's worth challenging yourself if you've never done this and you're starting a new program and you're in that place. I think it's worth it. Having said that, I had a client a few years ago where week 1 was, let's take the food out of your bedroom. And when you wake up in the middle of the night, you don't leave your room. Okay. If that's where you're at, awesome. Make those small shifts. I would venture to say this form of 7 days is such an extreme from where somebody currently is that it may not be the healthful step.
The right starting place.
Yeah. Like for this client in particular, this would have been so extreme that she would have felt like she can't do anything. This is never going to work.
Okay.
And potentially, like I said before, like boomerang the other direction.
Right.
So that person, I would say this may not be the best step for you. And so kind of assess where you're at. And like I said before, 3 days is a good, a good effort.
Yes. Yeah.
If you're coming from that place where like if your default food choices right now are coming out of a bag and a window, maybe try for a couple days.
Okay.
Right? If you're generally eating well and experiencing some of the things that we've talked about before, go for it. Make it 7 days.
Yes.
Figure it out.
Yes.
Survival tips, like I talked about before, like eat all day long, like stay ahead of your hunger.
Okay.
For me, especially during detox, like once I get too hungry, it's all downhill.
Agreed. In general, in life, once I get too hungry, it's all downhill.
Yeah. For all of us, always.
Yes.
I think,
Yeah.
that hangry thing.
Yes.
Yeah.
Staying ahead of that in general, I think is good for the individual and the people that they have to deal with.
Yeah. Drink tons of water.
Okay.
If you're not eliminating, drink more water. You can use a fiber powder to help clean things out. I do not recommend most fiber powders.
Okay.
That my 7-day detox kit has a fantastic fiber powder that most fiber powders out there are going to remove the good stuff and the bad stuff.
Okay.
This actually helps add more of the good stuff and remove the bad stuff. These are very technical things. Remember to limit your exercise. So I always like to think about it like week 1, I am telling you to move less and eat more.
Love it. That sounds great.
Right? Remember activities that are going to occupy your mind, reading, walking, massage, mani-pedi, whatever, do things.
Some good movies.
Yeah. Movies are great without the popcorn.
Yeah.
Dairy is another one. So a lot of people don't necessarily eat dairy regularly. Whether you do or don't, detox is another time to remove the dairy. And I think that covers it. Questions? Anything we haven't?
I think that you covered everything. It's interesting that you added the dairy at the end because that
I forgot to mention.
Yeah,
it before.
but I think that's an important one, and people don't necessarily realize the effect that it can have on your gut and on the comfort of your digestion in general.
Yeah. So yeah, and I know a lot of people are like, "Oh, that's my probiotics." Like, no, guys. This could probably be a whole other episode, but your best source of probiotics and digestive health is not in dairy.
Yes.
So throwing it out there.
Yeah.
We're probably going to cause a storm, but like
don't fall for the commercials.
Right, exactly.
That say that yogurt is the only probiotic.
Right.
There are lots of natural
We're smarter than
ones
that
elsewhere.
Yeah. So that's the deal. My recommended 7-day vegetable and fruit detox gives you the reset you're looking for to support and rejuvenate your body's natural detoxification pathways. Clear the road for your healthiest year yet in 2020.
I love it.
Yeah. Remember, for our members, you are getting my favorite detox soup recipe, tips and tricks for thriving during detox week, and 15% off my 7-day detox kit. If you want to become a member and get the goods, go to glow.fm/salad with a side of fries. Super simple, 90 seconds, 3 clicks, you're in, you're all set up. Stevie, thanks again for being here.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah.
Always fun.
You guys know me. I'm your host, Jenn Trepeck. You can find me on Instagram at Jenn Trepeck, JENNTREPECK. Our Facebook page is under the same handle. Our Facebook group is at Salad with a Side of Fries podcast, and our website is saladwithasideoffriespodcast.com. And I think that covers it.
Awesome.
Go clean out your systems. Bye, guys.
Well, friends, that's it for today's episode of Salad with a Side of Fries. Congratulations for making yourself and your health a priority. Thanks so much for joining us. Be sure to click subscribe or follow on your favorite podcast platform. Share us with a friend, and we'll be back next week. Always remember, you deserve it, and you are worth it. Happy healthy.